We bought Walmart's cheapest tablets, and of course in Toasterburst fashion, we're gonna game on them, but should you?
These tablets come in at very affordable price points, as low as $97 and all the way up to $150. We bought two of them to see which one is the best bang for buck, and of course as a PC gamer, should you buy one? We'll talk about that after a word from today's sponsor.
PC Bros is today's sponsor, which is our PC selling business.
As you can see, we're in our storefront right now. We're gonna show you guys some of the stuff you can get up front at PCBros.tech.
First off, we got PCs ranging anywhere from a couple $100 all the way to a few $1,000s. You can actually come in person or shop online today.
And if you do come in person in Louisville, Kentucky, you have access to all these great deals on peripherals and a bunch of other cool tech that we don't list on the website.
And if you don't want to spend any money, check out twitch.tv/toasterbros because we do give away a PC every single month in collab with PCBros.tech.
So check out PCBros.tech today. Use code ToastyBros on checkout to save 3% on your next purchase. Now, let's dive into the video, shall we?
So Matt actually bought the two cheapest On-brand tablets. If you didn't know, On seems to be a Walmart in-house brand. I think Walmart maybe owns them, but I'm not totally sure. We just know we see On a lot at Walmart. And we got right here the 7-inch tablet, which is the cheapest one, coming in at that $97. And then we also have the 8.1-inch tablet, which is a little bit bigger and actually has some nicer specs too, funny enough. And then we didn't want to pay for the even nicer 11-inch tablet because that one is over 150 bucks.
Now, in terms of specs, each tablet does give you more performance and obviously a bigger size, and maybe some slight changes in terms of storage. The big differences between the two that we have right here is the 7-inch tablet comes with 4 gigs of RAM versus 6 gigs of RAM for the 8 gig tablet. We also get longer battery life with the bigger tablet, 15 hours advertised versus 10 hours of battery life on the smaller tablet. And the resolution is slightly different on each tablet. With the 8.1-inch tablet, we have a 1000 by 1524 resolution IPS touchscreen display, while the 7-inch tablet has a 1024 by 600 resolution LCD, which is actually not an IPS display. So the 8.1-inch is a slightly better display type, but the 8.1-inch boosts up to 2.8 gigahertz, while the 7-inch only boosts up to 2.
Now the storage in both of these is the exact same, 64 gigs built into both, but you can add micro SD cards, which by the way are expensive right now, just like all other storage. Now the 8.1-inch tablet, the larger one, actually does have a slightly better camera config. We have a 2 megapixel camera facing towards you, and then we do have a 5 megapixel camera facing towards the rear, while this camera is just a 2 in 2.
Now the specific processor in both of these tablets is the Qualcomm Snapdragon 685 Plus with an Adreno 610 GPU. Having the GPU on board will allow us to play some games, and of course as PC gamers, we are going to do some gaming on these devices. But to mix things up, instead of us just unboxing these live and giving our reactions, Jackson and I last week grabbed one of these tablets. We took it with us for the weekend to use in our daily use cases and also try some gaming on it. That way you can actually see what are some good use cases for this tablet rather than just first reactions that we typically do here on the channel. And we're going to kick things off with Jackson's tablet because this is the more budget-friendly option, and he's going to talk about what he used his tablet for this weekend.
So guys, we're in the 7-inch tablet for the entire weekend, and I gotta say, I'm not a tablet user. I do have an iPad for my fiance that from time to time I'll mess with, like if I'm trying to do guitar tabs or something, but I actually really enjoyed this tablet. I know it sounds weird, but 97 bucks, I just expected it to be like when I was a little younger and they started implementing tablets in school, they sucked. I mean, they were like, you couldn't use them. Nothing would open, everything just instantly like would shut down. I'm playing Plants vs. Zombies right now. And so they just sucked. I thought cheap tablets were horrible and they just couldn't really be used, but here I am. I'm playing Plants vs. Zombies, and look how smooth it actually runs. And I also got Balloon Tower Defense. Dude, I'm getting destroyed. I can't even kill this guy. Can I tap him? But basically, the games run smooth. I have not tested any like AAA, like in esports like Fortnite. I know Matt talked about getting Fortnite. We don't have the space. Fortnite takes like 40 gigs, which is crazy on a tablet. But there is a lot of mobile games now compared to when I was a kid playing these games. I was playing like little gotcha games like this, and they ran like crap. But this thing ran everything really well. Now, I did actually do some other stuff too. This is using Android 16, which I do have a Google Pixel, so for Matt, this might have been a little bit jarring for me. It's not too much different than my Google Pixel. I did opt to have like my home button and back button all up down here. I did organize my apps. Like I got YouTube, picture library, we got Google Chrome. And it's nice too, because since I have Android, I was actually able to log into this, and it's almost like having an iPhone environment where I can actually import like my pictures and all that stuff. You can even do contacts and everything. Obviously these don't have mobile data. So once you go off the grid, if you don't have Wi-Fi, you can still use the tablet, but you're not gonna be doing anything online with it unless you do a hotspot. They may make versions that can take an eSIM, but I'm not totally sure. I did download some other stuff too, like I got UDisc, so I can actually keep track of disc golf, and I got some video of me even playing and actually using the app, and you can see it transfers fine between, you know, my phone and the tablet, which is pretty cool. Another thing I kind of thought was cool was like DJI. If you have a like DJI Action or Pocket, it's pretty nice having this to be able to see what the camera is seeing and whatnot. So rather than having to have your phone out, which, let's be honest, phone battery life for me especially with mobile data, I'm killing it. By the time I want to use my phone to go do something fun, it's on like 2%. And so this tablet actually has really good battery life. The whole 10-hour thing, which that's what it advertises on the back here, is up to 10 hours. I feel like it can actually do that like while using it, because I have not charged this tablet since the day I got it, which would have been, I think, Thursday of last week. So it's been 4 or 5 days. I haven't charged it and I am still at 55%, and I've been using it. Now, not for extended periods of time, but I've been using it. So we got Blue and Tower Defense, we got Plants vs. Zombies. I did add like a YouTube widget because you already know, Android for a while has had widgets. That's kind of the Android thing, honestly. So anytime you download an app or anything, you can add whatever widgets you want from it. I also added this. So this is like a calendar view here. See, we get paid. We get paid in a day or two, which is pretty nice. So I thought this was cool. I didn't know tablets had flashlights now. I don't know, I feel like a boomer when it comes to tablets. But I never actually did use the camera on this. I just thought about it. Has HDR apparently, we got flash. It looks okay. How do I look, Jonah?
Good.
Yeah, not bad.
I'd say it's like webcam level of laptop.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Honestly, not too bad. It's like, the way I would put this tablet is, you're not buying an iPad, but you're not paying iPad price. You're paying $100 brand new. One other thing that's cool is it's all aluminum. The whole case is aluminum, and it's really lightweight. I know I handed it to Jonah earlier, joking that I got a new phone. Him and Zach, I think for a split second, I think they were fooled, because I am a Droid user and we're kind of freaks, you know? You never know what we're gonna show up with. But overall, I mean, I just am surprised by the quality because, like I said, back when I was first getting into tablets, the cheap ones were plastic. Any of those cheap Droid tablets were just horrible. They ran incredibly slow, they were glitchy, they were finicky. This one so far, I've had pretty much no issues with. Mine's a little bit lower res though. So I think that's kind of the trade-off is, even though his has a higher clock speed, I think mine having a smaller resolution makes them probably run about the same. I'll have to ask Matt, but I know for the games that I loaded up, they ran pretty dang good. There is times where you do get like those, I don't know if I can get it to do it, but like you get those little loading lags sometimes, you know, where like you're loading into something and you can see the refresh rate drop. You'll go to scroll and you're just like, ugh. It gets that a little bit, but I'm just surprised it's not constantly like that. I expected this to be almost like running an old Windows PC on a hard drive. I just thought it was gonna be really slow and horrible. Speakers are okay. You guys could hear a little bit of Plants vs. Zombies. I had the speakers at not even half. When I pulled up a YouTube video, Emily and I watched some YouTube on this, watched some Good Mythical Morning, and they're okay. I would say it sounds equivalent to like phone speakers, maybe slightly worse. And I don't know if it's just because we got these two downward speakers here or what, but yeah, I would say phone quality, maybe a little worse. As far as the brightness goes, I'm all the way up right now. Matt's has an IPS display, which normally IPS is darker, normally. I don't know in this case. I mean, it's pretty bright though. I just kept it all the way up and I could see it just fine with my boomer vision. I never did use any of the features like Bluetooth or alarm. I have obviously auto rotate. It does have auto brightness, which is cool. So it uses probably the front camera to detect the light coming in. Airplane mode, reading mode. I mean, it has all of the basic functions I could think of. And so I guess the last segment of this, I've actually even been thinking about keeping it, funny enough, but the only reason I don't is because I use my phone so much that I don't really see myself using this enough. It just is fun. I think it'd be cool to download certain things, like maybe for streamers. So like they have all these free Steam Decks, right? Where you download an app and you can use these as a stream deck. It's also great for those people who don't have like 10 monitors like me, and you want to have like your Twitch chat. They're great for that. They're great for just monitoring things. If you have kids, it'd be a good little baby monitoring station. I don't know. I could think of a lot of use cases where you're like, I don't want to go buy a $500 iPad. I also don't want the world's worst Android tablet. What's in between? I feel like these on tablets are pretty dang good. I mean, that's why Matt's the one who bought these, and I thought this was gonna be kind of like a BS video, but now that I'm actually using it, I'm like, oh, they're like actually good, which is pretty insane. I didn't see that coming. So that is my 7-inch tablet experience. Let's grab Matt and see what he thought about his slightly larger tablet.
All right, guys, now let's talk about the 8.1-inch tablet that we have right here that comes in $139. My initial impressions during the unboxing. I was pleasantly surprised at the build quality of this device, and I really do think the 8.1-inch design is pretty solid. When I saw Jackson's 7-inch tablet, I was kind of thinking a lot of phones nowadays get really close to that size. So practicality-wise, if I'm going to get a tablet, I definitely want to invest in one that is a little bit bigger so it actually has a separate use from my phone, and I really do think this fulfills that at the price point. The display is a 90 hertz display also, which is pretty cool because when we were playing games with the GPU horsepower we have on here, you can take advantage of slightly higher refresh rate, and normally using a device like this, even a phone that has a slightly higher refresh rate display, I think the user experience is just overall better if you have that. So 90 hertz is a really cool addition for a tablet of this price point. Now build quality, I think it really resembles like a cheaper kind of iPad. They went for a very minimal design here that's very similar to Jackson's, but it's just a little bit bigger. I do like the soft touched metal that is on the back here. It's very nice. It does get a little bit of fingerprints, but depending on the color you get, they may appear more or often less depending on your use case. But I will say it is very soft touch, meaning I threw this thing in my backpack because I was thinking, you know what, if I'm gonna get a cheap tablet like this, I just want to bring it around with me, throw it in my tech bag and just have it if I need it. And without a case, I already have a little dent right here on the side from it just bouncing around in my backpack. So buyer beware if you are going to want to take care of this thing. I would recommend it. Obviously, you did pay money for it. Get some sort of carrying case for it just to protect it a little bit, but I still personally would use it like this, maybe invest in a screen protector just to protect that screen. Now, as somebody who daily drives an iPhone, Android is something that I'm aware of, but don't use a ton. I've used Android phones in the past, but I'm mainly an iPhone user now. So running Android 16 was a little bit of a different experience to get things started, but it's pretty similar to other Android devices. I do daily drive an Ion Thor for my emulation needs, and it's a very similar setup. So I was pretty used to doing that to get this thing up and running. In terms of applications, I was able to install some basic games. I really focused on gaming with this device because of the size and the use case I would actually have for something like this that would be an extension of my phone, would mainly be for gaming. So I installed the basic suites of games. We got some retro games like Retro Bowl, which is a really fun football game that runs very well on this device. I will say Fortnite Mobile actually struggled a little bit on this device, but you do get a lot of different settings you can do to customize it. But it really felt like a 40 FPS experience with touch controls, which I would really not recommend, honestly, but if you're a mobile gamer, you're probably used to that. And the last game I tried that was just an app downloaded to the game was Need for Speed No Limits, or NFS No Limits, and for some reason that game just never loaded. I don't know if this processor is just too low end or whatever the reason may be, but it did not load that game, so do keep that in mind. There are some games that actually won't load, and compared to what ones Jackson played, I did try some more demanding ones to see what the use case would be, and there were some limitations. Now, before I dive into emulation, I gotta talk about some of the general use of this device. YouTube playback, pretty solid. You do only get about 1080p streaming when you are watching YouTube on this device, but at the resolution, really not a big deal. Playback is pretty smooth watching some Toasty Bros content. Stay subscribed if you want to see more Toasty Bros videos. And it really is an overall good device for watching movies and videos on the go. I would recommend this only if you have a micro SD card added, obviously, because storage is limited for like movies on a plane. If you want something a little bigger than your phone screen, this could be a good addition for that, especially for the price. And with the battery life that it does claim, 15 hours of general use. That 15 hours is definitely for using this as like an e-reader device, which it does have the ability to do that. It will probably give you anywhere between 6 to 7 hours of use case, which for a thin device like this, I think it's pretty dang good for something you could just throw in a bag, and at its price point, I really can't complain about the battery life. Now, of course, there's other ways you can game on this device. The next one I did was what PC gamers would use, and that is GeForce Now. GeForce Now is a game streaming service through NVIDIA. You do have to pay for it, and it can be a bit pricey, so the price performance of it isn't amazing, but kind of think of it as either GeForce Now for game streaming, where you're basically gaming on a cloud PC through NVIDIA on your device, or you could use the local streaming at your home, where like if you have a gaming PC and you could stream from that PC to this device if you want to play your games on a couch. That is also a very similar setup, and this thing did a really good job. I was able to play Black Myth Wukong with a controller over Bluetooth on this, and it had a bit of latency built in, but I was able to play the game and the visuals were pretty decent. Wi-Fi is hit or miss. When I was testing this at home, I had no problems getting a pretty decent service, but Jonah behind the camera knows the Wi-Fi here is an absolute mess, so I really don't even blame this device for it. So some of the footage you are seeing on the overhead camera, I did have this plugged up directly to Ethernet to get the best possible signal, and when I did do that, it was a very smooth experience. Game streaming is really cool for something like this, and I think that is the #1 use case for PC gamers to consider one of these if you want to try game streaming from your existing gaming PC or a game streaming service like GeForce Now. And the last thing I did was some emulation on this device, because emulation is really fun and something I'm very into, playing retro games, specifically Pokemon games. Again, for copyright purposes, we're not going to show a ton of the gameplay on screen here, emulator. Be sure to get your ROMs legitimately and have a copy of the game if you're going to use it. But I did install Obtainium, which is a package manager that allows you to install a bunch of different emulators very easily on Android. I got Melon DS for DS games. I got Azahar for 3DS games. I also have Dolphin Emulator, which gives me GameCube and Wii games. And those games ran pretty well. Some of them work well with touch controls, some require a controller, but emulation is a really cool use case for this device, and it's not going to max games out or add extra resolution. They're probably all going to run native at their normal FPS, but it is a fun way to get into some retro gaming, and I think DS is actually really cool in this form factor because the two screens stack perfectly in vertical mode, making it a really fun way to experience a DS game on a tablet-like device. Now overall, I think for the price, I really cannot complain about this device. This is definitely a secondary device at the price that I would consider throwing in a tech bag. Let's say you travel and you want to watch videos or have emulation or anything I mentioned in this video, you just want another piece of tech that's separate from your phone that you can use. I think this is really good for the price. These things compete very nicely with the tablets from Amazon, which normally end up having a bunch of ads and bloatware thrown on them, and they don't run pure Android like this. I think ON has something really cool going here, especially from Walmart, and at the price that you're paying, I cannot complain about anything with this tablet. Yes, obviously, I think the 11-inch version is a good investment if you want even more horsepower or a bigger screen, but if you just want something that you can throw in your tech bag, this is a really good investment. And I did, lastly, one thing I totally forgot to mention, I did test both cameras here, and we'll jump to a camera test here, and we'll have Jackson go ahead and record one also so you can get a little side-by-side, but this is the front and back camera testing so you guys can see what the mic sounds like and the video quality.
Here's a recording using the front camera with some studio lights on my side, and I hope this isn't frame enough, but this is me using the back camera with the same studio lights in front of me. Cheers.
So overall, I think with both tablets, we'll bring Jackson in here to get our final thoughts. For the price, cannot complain. Let's go and bring him in here and see what we have to say about it.
So our overall reviews of these ON tablets is they are very solid tablets for the price. They've come a really long way. And overall, it's really just depending on your use case on which one of these you should buy. And hey, maybe even the larger tablet that we didn't even show here could be an option for you. But regardless, if you want to be able to put it in your pocket, you got a small one here. If you want a more traditional tablet experience, we got the 8.1 inch there.
And in a market where everything is getting more expensive, having access to a tablet that's under $200 that can do pretty much anything you'd want to use a tablet for without having to spend a ton of money on iPads, and don't really get us started about iPad pricing and Apple just raising prices in general. This will satisfy the use cases of 99% of people who want a tablet, and it's affordable enough just to give it a go and have it as a secondary tech device. So if you want to give it a go and buy one yourself, use that link down below. It's a affiliate link and it will help us out. Let us know what you think of these tablets. Are you considering picking one up for your tech bag?
And as always, we hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you check out our other two YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/ToastyBros. And do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
And check out PCBros.tech if you want to pick up a tablet, a laptop, a gaming PC. We got you covered.
PC Bros has got you covered, and if you guys didn't know, we have a local store in Louisville, Kentucky. You can walk in and buy stuff today, including stuff that's not listed on the website. Use code ToastyBros on checkout. You will save 3% of your next purchase. See you guys later. Goodbye.